She stood there, smiling, like nothing ever happened. The same woman who burned my house to the ground was now standing just a few feet away from me in court. Her floral scarf, her fake pearls, and that smug grin that made my blood boil. 3 months ago, I had everything. A small cabin I built myself on my late father's land. I wasn't rich, but it was mine. Every brick, every nail, every corner had a memory. Until she, Karen, head of the local HOA, decided I didn't fit in. She said my cabin ruined the neighborhood aesthetic. I told her I didn't even live in her HOA territory. She laughed and said, "You'll see." I thought it was just empty words, but one night, as I was driving back from work, I saw smoke rising above the trees. My heart sank before I even reached the gate. Flames swallowed my roof like it was paper. The air smelled like gasoline. My tools, my father's uniform, everything gone. When the fire chief came, Karen was already there, shaking her head like she was watching a bad TV show. She told the officer, maybe if he followed the community standards, this wouldn't have happened. I swear, she almost sounded proud. They called it accidental electrical fire, but I knew better. The next day, I found her HOA notice half burned under the ashes. Final warning, it said. Remove structure or face consequences. I didn't break down. I didn't scream. I rebuilt. Quietly. Patiently. Because I had something she didn't know. My father's old security cameras. They'd been recording everything that night, and what they caught would turn the whole town upside down. And now, here we were. Same courtroom, same air heavy with silence. Karen looked confident. Her lawyer whispered something and she smirked at me. The judge entered, papers shuffled, and my attorney leaned in. "You sure you want to do this yourself?" he whispered. I nodded. "Yeah," I said, "because she burned my home, and now I'm about to burn her lies."
The courtroom felt colder than it should have. Karen sat across from me, arms folded, tapping her manicured nails on the desk like she owned the place. Her lawyer started speaking first, painting me as some angry recluse who hated the community. He said I'd made threats and faked evidence. The audience murmured. Karen smirked again, like she already knew the ending. But then it was my turn. I stood up slowly, holding a small flash drive in my hand. "Your Honor, I have something the HOA and Mrs. Keller," I made sure to say her full name, "forgot to mention." The judge raised an eyebrow. "Proceed." The lights dimmed, the screen flickered, and there it was, the footage from that night. Karen's silver SUV pulling up beside my cabin, 2 men stepping out with gas cans. Her voice, clear as day, "Make sure it looks like a fuse blew. He'll learn not to ignore HOA rules." The room went silent. Karen's smirk vanished. Her lawyer jumped up, shouting, "Objection! That video could be doctored." The judge leaned forward, frowning. "Where did you get this, Mr. Collins?" I said, "My father's old security cameras. They were wired into a backup battery system. She didn't know that." Karen suddenly stood up, shouting, "He's lying! That's not me!" But everyone could hear her voice in the recording again, this time yelling at her men to hurry. The bailiff stepped closer to her. The judge sighed heavily. "Mrs. Keller, please sit down." But she didn't. Instead, she turned toward me, face red, eyes blazing. "You ruined everything," she screamed. "You shouldn't have moved here in the first place." Her outburst echoed through the hall. The judge slammed his gavel. "That's enough. Mrs. Keller, you will remain silent until further notice." And just like that, the woman who once ruled the neighborhood like a queen now looked cornered, sweating, shaking, realizing her little empire was crumbling right in front of everyone.
Karen's face went pale as the judge called for a short recess. The courtroom buzzed with whispers. Reporters started typing like mad, and even the bailiffs exchanged glances.
I didn't move. I just watched her, the woman who'd ruined my life, finally losing control. Her lawyer leaned toward her, whispering harshly. She shook her head, eyes darting around the room like a trapped animal. Then, suddenly, she stood up and stormed toward me. The bailiff stepped between us instantly. "You think this changes anything?" she hissed. "You'll still lose. People like me don't go to jail." I leaned closer, just enough so only she could hear. "You already built your own prison," I said. "I'm just showing everyone the blueprints." She froze for a second, then turned sharply and walked back to her seat, pretending she wasn't scared. But her hands told another story. They were shaking. When the judge returned, he didn't waste time. "We'll admit the video as evidence," he said firmly. "We'll also order a forensic review. But I've seen enough for probable cause." He looked straight at her. "Mrs. Keller, you're officially under investigation for arson, conspiracy, and property destruction." Gasps filled the courtroom. Karen's lawyer slumped back in his chair. She stood there, eyes wide, as two deputies approached. But then she laughed, a slow, chilling laugh that made everyone uneasy. "You think this is over?" she said. "You have no idea who you're dealing with." The judge ordered her removed from the courtroom. But before the doors closed, she turned and shouted, "You'll regret ever crossing me!" I sat back down, heart pounding. My lawyer leaned over. "She's dangerous," he muttered. "You should watch your back." I nodded slowly. "I already am." Because what Karen didn't know was that the fire wasn't the only thing she'd been caught doing. There were other tapes, ones I hadn't shown yet, and they'd reveal just how deep her corruption ran. The next hearing came faster than anyone expected. The courtroom was packed this time. Neighbors, reporters, even some of her old HOA board members sitting quietly in the back, afraid to meet her eyes. Karen walked in handcuffed, but still trying to keep that fake smile, the kind that used to scare people into silence. But not anymore. The judge reviewed the forensic report first. The gasoline traces matched the brand she bought that same day. Her phone GPS placed her SUV right at my property during the fire. And the kicker, the HOA funds she'd been collecting had been secretly paying those two men who helped her that night. When the judge read that last part aloud, the entire courtroom gasped. Karen dropped her head. The smile finally disappeared. Her lawyer tried one last time. "Your Honor, my client was under stress. She didn't mean—" The judge cut him off. "Mr. Fields, stop. This wasn't stress. This was power, abused and weaponized." Karen looked at me then, tears in her eyes, not from guilt, but from defeat. "You ruined me," she whispered. I stood up slowly. "No," I said quietly, "you did that yourself. I just showed everyone who you really are." The judge's gavel hit the desk hard. "Mrs. Keller, you are sentenced to 15 years in federal prison for arson, fraud, and conspiracy." Her legs gave out. The bailiffs caught her before she hit the floor. She didn't say another word as they led her away. I walked outside the courthouse, the cool wind hitting my face. Reporters shouted questions, cameras flashed, but I didn't stop. I just looked up at the sky, the same sky I used to watch from my porch before everything burned. I'd already started rebuilding, not just the cabin, but my peace. This time, stronger, and with steel walls instead of wood. Because some people rebuild houses, but I rebuilt something bigger, my freedom.